Hello teacups, what's brewing? I was not expecting to be online today. I spent today putting my Christmas tree up. My Christmas tree lights were broken. I'm gonna have to go get some more twinkle lights, I think. The tree just doesn't look the same without it. I wanted to be cheerful. However, I didn't go to do that today because I promised myself I could put my tree up as a reward for finishing my final deadline. I had a unit plan that was due in before the holiday. So next week, all I have to worry about is getting through the lessons, finishing off some things, but all my deadlines are done. It's gonna be okay. So Chantal has uploaded. I know I haven't been covering her latest drama very much. It just came at an unfortunate time for me. I'll try and just give you a basic summary of my thoughts on it, but she realized pretty quickly she'd made a mistake going on to LOLcow Live. And I think this video is a result of it just kind of escalating beyond her means to deal with it. I think her and Salah had a huge fight about it because she didn't seem to be honest with him over what she was doing. And I think her defense of, well, if he didn't care about me, he would just be throwing me at these opportunities because I'd earn money, just made it sound to me like she tried to reason with him. No, look at the money I'll earn. When actually this wasn't a paid opportunity, as quite embarrassingly she found out. Although there is a logic to saying, okay, well, being on the show would funnel more people to her channel for sure. So I think she tried to reason with him over what a good opportunity it would be. And Salah, shockingly, has a shred of pride in odd places and was like, no, this is going to end up being a disaster for me. Which she has now presented as, no, he loves me too much. That's where I think this has gone, and I think it has gone that way because of the I Feel Violated stream. I think that was a full performance for Salah to try and get her out of that situation of him asking, why did you do this? Why didn't you talk to me first? Why did you say these things online? Because she can't control herself at all. And the moment she got into what she thought was going to be her new little group, she changed personalities back. And the only defense she has for that is, well, look, no, I'm mentally ill. I'm a victim. These things happened to me and I never dealt with them. And while all that is true, it's very convenient that it happens to come up now that she needs an out from something else she doesn't want to deal with. So all of that, all of the rage against reactors that she's not really winning, and then the added pressure of Keemstar, who she's been fairly deferential to up until now. Even when she's been trying to give a retort back, she's phrased it as, no, you don't understand what's going on here, not you were wrong, how dare you. But the tide seems to be turning there, and clearly, despite the fact that she filmed this in the morning, or at the very least during the day, this got put up not very long ago, so she must have filmed it at some point this morning. She says Chatty morning, I guess it's morning for her. She was raging on the community tab until very recently, the wee hours of the night, I'm guessing. I'll have to go on Twitter and get the screenshots. And suddenly, fresh slate. The community posts are gone. So all of this and all of the fact that she's evaluated it and been like, oh, I am not winning this, has accumulated in this video. Right on schedule. Well done. For someone so impulsive, we sure can tell what she's gonna do. Oddly enough, I will say, before I push this button, sorry, I know I've been going on about this a little bit, that the I Feel Violated stream is still there. And I think if it wasn't for Salah, she would have taken that down. Because if it was a case of she was trying to hit back at LOLcow Live, although there was a little bit of that in there, I think for the sake of kind of keeping the peace there and trying to stop that tide from drowning her, she would have taken it down. But no, that was her justification to Salah, and so it has to stay up. All right, so let's get into her now. I have cut out the beginning of the video. She saw a coffee bus that looked pretty awesome. I really liked it. It's kind of vintage and cool. She did some driving with music and she petted a cat. I didn't want to include any of that in my video, so there we are.
Alright guys, so I have my iced coffee.
I do not have coffee today because I was like, oh, it's 8:45. I can get a react in, but if I want to sleep tonight after I've edited, I have to have squash.
It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about some things, some updates.
I don't even think she's been to bed if she's out in the morning. So the amount of rage she had on community and it's turned into this, oh no, it seems natural.
Does anyone, I don't know if they do this in the West. I've never gotten, a car or knew anybody who had a car. When they bought it, they got a perfume with it. Like,
I have never actually bought a car, but I do not think that is the case. However, it does seem like such an Arabic thing to do. The scent, the perfumes here are such a big thing.
this came with like a musk, and apparently they give away perfumes.
I bet that
but
is
it actually
really
does
strong.
smell really nice. But it's not a car. I don't know if it's a car perfume actually. It
It might just be one of those, the furniture perfume things you get a lot.
might be a car perfume, or I don't know, but it smells like a musky like cologne or something. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Seems
Let me know if
overwhelming.
they do that where you're from. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know people are gonna be like, it's because you stink.
I did not cut there to be shady. I just suddenly had a sneezing fit. I'm just going to say, bear in mind that given the message of this whole video, she couldn't help but get that little dig in.
No, I smell really good actually.
Do you now?
I smell like oud and patchouli and rose vanilla. I smell nice.
Oud is a very particular scent to hear, but it's quite strong. I would say it would overpower anything else. So if you smell like oud and rose and vanilla, then you probably smell more strongly than good. I am quite sensitive to perfumes. I'm very picky about the scents I have in the house, and I'm generally not one to wear perfume, so it might be I'm just biased about this.
So anyways, I just thought I would talk to you guys about some things.
Right, we're here for you.
I'm going to be doing a challenge
Challenges always end well for her.
on my channel and in my life. Yes, I need you guys to hold me accountable for this.
Not our responsibility. This is your challenge. And whenever you do a challenge of any kind and you say, guys, I need accountability, it's just a way for you to blame us when it doesn't work.
Here we go. It's actually going to be a no drama challenge. I always come on here and, I always say that I'm going to do a lot of things.
Yes, you do.
And I don't do half of the things I say I'm going to do. And
I think half is generous, but yes.
actually bugs me. I know that changing is not it's easier said than done, but I really, really, really don't want to be dragged into drama online.
The problem isn't that it's said easier than done, although that's true. The problem is to you saying it and doing it is the same thing. And nobody is at your house with a rope hog tying you and dragging you into drama. It is 100% within your control to not engage, or at least it should be. Let's say instead it's 100% your choice not to engage or to engage as needed.
I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like how it's the negative vibes it gives off. It's just not healthy, and it's really just time consuming, and I can think of so many ways to focus on myself and better myself that I just don't want to focus on anything else.
All fair things that she will not do, but all fair things. It's not like the community hasn't been yelling that at you for years now. There's so much more you could do. Even if you made it content, there's so much more you can do. And while you talk about not being dragged into drama, you're the one who said you were going to quit and now you're here doing videos. You could choose to just take that break you were determined to take, because it would mean that you could focus on that. And she does talk a little bit about this later. So we'll let her. But no one is forcing you to be here.
I want to focus on becoming a better person that I always say I want to. And part of that is, actually I was watching a podcast from a Muslim woman, and it just really, really made sense to me. And it made me feel enlightened after that podcast. And I realized that the no drama and the positive vibes have to start with, changing how you entertain yourself.
That's a pretty basic take, but yes, absolutely true. Your consumption is not limited to the food you put in your body, it's everything else you put into your body as well, all of your stimuli, all of your intellectual needs, You serve them all. So, yes, you get out what you put in. But I thought you didn't watch reactors, Chantal. I thought you didn't do that. Because once again, there's no one at your house switching the channel for you. You're making your choices.
That's very important. The things that we consume for our brains, the things we feed our brains,
I should have let her just keep going.
are just as important as the things we feed our bodies.
Yes.
And I realized that I was paying attention to how I felt after watching this podcast on Islam, and it just made me feel enlightened. It made me feel good, and it really inspired me. And whenever I watch other podcasts or drama streams, people bickering at each other, backbiting, telling lies, rumors, all this and that, it makes me feel not good.
And I understand that, especially considering the stuff she's watching is probably about her. So it's not even like she can enjoy the moment of just listening in on some gossip because it's about her. She can't stay away. But may I offer to you that there is a whole wealth of content between religious Islam and trashy drama. I would suggest you broaden your interests. And I know you've said you hate all other interests basically. But guys, I need the Foodie Hates Craft series. I know I mentioned it off the collar the other day, but I need Foodie Hates Crafts. I need it.
You know, and it makes me want to do and say things that are not in my favor and just really do me no favors.
Oh, those are two different things. Things that do me no favors, things that are not in my favor. That was quite the slip.
So, anyway, the podcast was talking about how to clean your heart and soul. And I know it's going to sound like weird to non-believers and to people who, you know, people are just going to think I'm weird for talking. That's fine, whatever.
People think you're weird. It's not going to be for this. That decision was made many a moon ago.
Another one of the things I need to do is just do and say what I want and not worry about how other people are going to perceive it because, you know...
When were you worrying about that? Speaking of how people perceive things, I didn't even mention her posting the Sam's Barlown videos and then kind of implying that it was her, like not clarifying that it wasn't her at all, and then saying I was going through abuse like that. So she could back out later and be like, oh, no, I didn't say it was me on the videos. What a trash thing to do. Like, seriously, what's wrong with you?
But they were talking about you have your heart filled with darkness, with hate, with illness, and just negativity, and it's actually really bad for your heart and soul. It's really not good for you. And to cleanse that and become a better person, you have to start removing the things that are basically causing you to be ill in that way. So
Foodie's not wrong. It's her responsibility not to engage with her triggers, because frequently she treats the internet and she treats her community around the internet like it's our responsibility to change what we're doing, not her responsibility to not provide it. She is the source at the end of the day. And I think this is the problem she has, that she's like, well, it's the outside drama. And yes, there's a lot of drama outside her, but it's triggered internally. Now, getting rid of what she thinks are the external triggers probably will help her in the short term if she could stick to it, but it's internal that she's really got to look at. But to Foodie, everything in life is something that happens to her rather than something she causes, because causation gives a kind of responsibility that she's not willing to take on.
for example, as an analogy, when you have a wound that's infected, you have to start taking away the things that are keeping it infected. You have to take away the dirt, you have to take away the bacteria, you have to, and you have to cleanse it. And that works, it's starting with basically removing negativity in my surroundings, removing people who don't want anything good for you in your life, which is why, I'm happy with a smaller surrounding. I'm happy with very few friends, because I'd rather have few real people in my life than a bunch of fake people. Again, like I'll say, quality over quantity.
But you don't have quality or quantity. The few people you have seem to be terrible based on what we see online. I'm not talking about her family here, but her interactions seem to be Salah and a few chosen pieces. So her problem here, although her channel is less watched, it's not necessarily less talked about. So to that extent, you're probably not going to see a change in any kind of time frame that Foodie would be able to handle. Because remember, she is very instant gratification. But again, her community is not an acid eating around the edges. The poison comes from within.
A couple of years ago, maybe two and a half, 3 years ago or something like that, I used to have a huge following.
You've got 105,000 subscribers. By the numbers, you have a huge following now. The problem is you're not getting the views attached with it.
I realized that the majority of those people didn't want good for me. They wanted me to be in a situation where I wasn't happy. They wanted drama. They wanted all kinds of things that I didn't want.
She wanted drama and she wanted nada. She followed him through the darkness to go look through his windows. She wanted nada. It was a terrible situation for her. It was a dramatic situation. It was occasionally entertaining. It was worrisome, but it was drama. You know, it was something you were on your edge of your seat for. By the end of it, we were sick of it. God, we were sick of it. But then now we've got Kuwait to compare it to. Would we like to have more content? Yes. And the nada era, although terrible, was content. But to say no one wished her well, I think it's pretty close now to say no one wishes her well. Not the bees in the chat, not the people around her. They don't wish her well. But that has not always been the case at all. She used to have some ride and dies in that chat. And they all, in the end, just sort of broke away.
And their support was conditional. And that's fine, you know, like I said.
No, their support was conditional. At the time, the condition was, and this was after a lot of talk, hey, we absolutely cannot keep supporting you with this guy. He's going to kill you. You are going to get hurt. You're going to take someone with you when you're driving that car at all hours of the night. And you are clearly hurting yourself. Even if you can't see it, your life is spiraling. That, for all she didn't have very many, that was a voice of care. And when she told everyone, essentially, I do what I want, then they made the choice, okay, well, you do what you want, but I'm not going to sit here and watch it. That is what she means by conditional, because no friend in her life is a friend unless they're willing to let her do whatever she wants and have nothing to say about it. Or no, not nothing. Unconditional support. They have to be over the top happy for her that she's doing it, even when it makes no sense to be.
I really want to work on being consistent with creating positive content for people. I want to use my platform for good, not to tear other people down. And I have done a lot of that.
Sorry, you might want to turn off your community post. I'm just saying.
And I don't want to do that. I don't, even in self-defense, I don't want to, you know, lower myself to a level that I'm not proud of and that I'm going to have to work hard to get up.
There's no lowering. You there. You've been there for a long time. You dug yourself a little cellar and in it you sit. You don't want to have to answer for it. Now people are looking in that you don't want to have to answer to. But no, you're always the one to have your say and then delete it and be like, oh, no, guys. It's really just, I am above this. I want to be above this because I've had my say and I don't want you to have something back. So if someone tries, look, I am changed. This was in my past.
And make right with God, you know? And I just really, really realized that that's what I need to focus on, you know? And it's really hard. It's really hard navigating your way through social media when it's such a toxic place. And, you know, I don't want to contribute to that toxicity anymore.
Get offline. That's all you got. Get offline.
Want to make positive content, and if that means having a smaller following, that's okay. It might be temporary.
It might be temporary. It might not be. It's not like you're offering anything aside from the toxicity that people watch. She has tried the couples channel. And yes, I think if she could make good content and she could do it consistently for a year, there is every chance that she could get a new audience. Her past stuff would always be online and that would always taint that kind of channel. But the fact is, she doesn't make good enough content to make that switch. She's not a likable enough person, because when she tries to do this positive content, the only thing she knows how to do is to completely switch her personality. And those cracks show really quickly. Like, people don't need to know her to feel like something fake is happening. You can tell when a person isn't genuine, and it won't win her any supporters.
Inshallah, maybe eventually I will bring in with a consistent, maybe in a year's time or something, few months' time, if I really stick to this no negativity plan, maybe my content will draw in positive people, which will...
Maybe, but you never will, because you're not a positive person. Maybe that's something you can change, but I don't see you changing anything else. Why would this be the thing?
Replace the negative ones. And that's kind of what I want to work on in a way, So I'm starting with, I'm going to start with a 7 days, no drama, no addressing drama type of thing. And
I'm just going to take a week break from addressing anything that LolCal Live might bring up, because I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Good timing.
I'm going to actually take a good break from live streaming just for a little bit while I'm doing this, because
there's no way she'd be able to stop herself from talking about it, and she'd get herself in more trouble.
Find it, people come in purposely trying to pull me into drama, and I just always take the bait, and I just need to learn to not do that. I really, really need to, and I just have to forgive myself for my past, repent to God about it. The good thing about Islam is when you become Muslim, you take the Shahada, any sins you committed before you were Muslim are erased by Allah.
So stop talking about my OnlyFans, guys. Well, the internet isn't your religion. The internet doesn't erase stuff, mostly. The internet is pretty permanent, because the moment you put something on the internet, you have to assume that you no longer have control over it. But let's say, okay, we understand that. We are not beholden to the rules of your religion, but let's say we were to understand that and we would say, okay, nothing before you officially became a Muslim. You've been awful these past 2 years. Yes, okay, you haven't done it on OnlyFans, but it's been 2 years of you making no other changes than the clothes. You still swear, you still call people names, you still say, as you're doing it, though I understand I shouldn't say this, but I don't care. And any time you're presented with anything you're not supposed to do, you fall into it given the opportunity immediately. I'm thinking specifically of the weed and of the opportunity to eat things and not caring if they're halal or not. There are so many examples of you not caring about your religion, of you cherry picking when it's convenient, things that you think will prove your point or protect you from criticism, but doing nothing else. So no, don't be shocked when your internet audience, having seen how you've acted since taking your Shahada, isn't buying it.
So basically, anything from my past, all of the stuff that's being talked about, distributed throughout drama channels, hate channels, whatever, it's irrelevant in my life now.
Well, it's not irrelevant in ours, and it's not irrelevant in our conversation, because as you like to remind us, we are not God. I'm not going to say we, because I recognize that some people might be Muslim in the community, but I am not beholden to the choices of your religion. You put stuff out online, it's still online, and therefore the things that are in your past keep being relevant and keep coming up in your present.
It's not going to go away, but it does in my life. And so basically, that's what I have to focus on. That's what I have to focus on, and just let people ruminate about things that are not, relevant anymore to me.
Okay, so don't rage on your community tab about it, okay? Because we will. It's not relevant to you? Great, then you can just move on with your life. You spend your life the way you feel is right, and we will do the same.
Yeah, that being said, I have filled out an intake for some psychotherapy. I will hopefully hear from them soon.
I'm interested about this. Psychotherapy is not covered by insurance. Not that I think she has insurance, but there you are. And is, from what I've heard, pretty expensive. Now, obviously, I'm going by Omani laws, not Kuwait. I haven't looked into Kuwaiti, so maybe it's different there. But here, that's the case. The fact is, the opportunity to have therapy has never really been her problem, so I don't see this changing, and there we are.
Yeah, that's all I'm pretty much going to say about that. I might share some things that I've learned throughout it, but I'm not going to tell you, much more about that right now because I don't really have much to share about that. But I did take that step because I realized, there are a lot of traumas in the past few years and even before that in my life that I've just bottled up, and I haven't dealt with these feelings, and...
Yep, every time you had a massive rage, we did mention it to you, but I'm sure it's very helpful in the conversation with Salah to just pull on the sympathy a little bit. I don't think it's going to help you in the conversation with Lolcow Live, which is another thing you're trying to avoid. But like I said, it's about soothing Salah at the moment, because I think she's in quite a lot of shit at home.
It's a tale as old as time. If you suppress them, they eventually come out in ways you never would imagine, and they come out at times when something else triggers you to think of them, and that's what happened. And
hasn't taken down the I feel violated stream, like I said.
Yeah. Does anyone else drink ice drinks no matter what season it is?
She is uncomfortable with this part of the conversation, and that is why she's talking about coffee right now.
But the weather is so nice, and subhanallah, it's such a beautiful day. I'm going to enjoy my Saturday in a positive way and just try to put everything behind me, and just try to ignore all the noise.
Yeah, because now if someone brings it up, oh no, it's our fault, it's not her, she was trying to put it behind her. Yes, she did just have horrible community posts up mere hours ago, but you shouldn't react to it. I've moved on.
And just move on and really focus on what's important. I realize that I'm not here to please anyone in life.
Congratulations, you're succeeding.
Than, God.
Oh, sorry, you're not succeeding with everyone.
Allah, He's the one that I'm meant to please, and I've not been doing a very good job, as I've said many times. And, this journey into Islam is very important to me, and I haven't been focusing on that.
Yeah, for something that's really important to you, you haven't done anything about it, which tells me that, look, it's not really important to you. You just think it should be because that's what you've been presenting. But when you look at the actual, actions over the last 2 years, it actually doesn't seem important to you at all.
Should be. I have not been, doing that. And I've just been focusing on all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And it's been depressing and just not a good feeling. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So, inshallah, I will succeed at 7 days. Then I can aim for another 7 days until 7 days becomes a lifetime.
Good business choice, by the way, Foodie, cutting out the 7 days right as the height of December looms.
And I've succeeded in my goal. So I have other goals, but I'll leave those for another time.
Okay.
I think, I'm feeling positive that I'm taking the first steps, and hopefully my try now with this, and hopefully this try with therapy will be more successful than the other ones I've had in the past. I've tried so many times.
You've been so many times. You haven't really tried now, have you? Maybe that's unfair, but you just... As with anything that Foodie fails, it's about consistency and building a relationship. And not everybody is perfect for everybody when it comes to therapy, but opportunity has never been the issue.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about travel.
I forgot to check the timeline before I came online. That's what I meant to do. Right now, there are two possibilities. One, that when they did that vlog to the part that was right by the border, that they hopped over the border real quick. So potentially the timeline has reset from that point onwards. Or two, that we're still on the timeline from her returning from Thailand. I can't remember the dates for that. I'm really sorry. However, there was something going through the Kuwaiti Times and the kind of Middle Eastern papers recently that from, I think it was either the 7th or the 12th, I can't remember, maybe the 7th, they were suspending the e-visa in Kuwait. So Foodie gets the e-visa for her tourist stuff. You apply a couple of days before online, you get pre-approved for your visa, and then you just go through at the airport. So they're saying now that people from a load of countries, including Canada, can no longer apply for the e-visa. They can get a visa on arrival, but they have to do it in the airport. Which, who knows, might be no problem or might give them an opportunity to see how many tourist visas she's had. We don't know, but how interesting that travellers come up. Because either she's going to think of a reason why she has to go back to Canada pretty soon, or she has to go live somewhere else if not Canada, or she's going to have to risk doing her usual trip out somewhere and coming back and seeing what happens.
I haven't been mentally very well, and also physically, and I think that, I would just like to focus on myself a bit more before I travel.
What else have you got in your life that you're focusing? I suppose the internet is the answer to that, but focus on myself a bit more. Hun, it's not like you're running on a lot of distractions.
Salah was talking to me about taking a break from YouTube for a little bit so that I can focus on myself. So I'm really just thinking about that. I don't want to announce anything,
You are literally announcing it. It's fine. There's no details now.
Grandiose, permanent, until I've really thought about
Permanent. Ooh, is she worried about the visa? Is she?
About it. I said I would think about it. I would have to plan my time away to keep myself busy.
Not her and Salah.
What I want to do, stuff like that. Maybe go on some day trips with Salah.
Oh, she means here. Okay.
It really just enjoy our time together and strengthen our...
Does Salah not have to work? No. I would have thought he'd have to work. He's got a job after all.
Relationship even more. Focus on ourselves.
At all.
And I think that would be a really good thing, but I would miss you guys. I mean, it wouldn't be forever, it would be just a break. I think that I've never taken a real good break from YouTube.
I was trying to think back on this, and she used to rage quit a lot, but she'd come back immediately, so it didn't really count. I think way back when she took about a 2-month break, something like that. But that was really before her channel kind of spiraled the way it did. But I feel like that was quite a few years ago.
That might do me some good, even people who work normal jobs, they need vacation time too. They need days off.
People work harder at their normal jobs than you work at this, madam. I'm not one to sit here and say YouTube is not a job. People make their living on it every day. But I have seen your life. Don't you start with me. Take days off from turning the camera on and eating your meal with no other comment? Or just take days off when you feel like the tide is turning?
I know my job is not physically exhausting, but it is mentally in a lot of ways. So I think that could do some good. So I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about it. I haven't made any decisions.
I've got a feeling the decision's going to hit just as Christmas finishes, just as the AdSense drops like a stone in the beginning of January, because we have 2 weeks where it's really low.
I really want to also work on thinking things through before I actually make permanent decisions, because I have almost, I've brought a lot of pain on myself from being so impulsive. And
yeah, you have. Maybe discuss this conversation you're having now then with your loving husband instead of having it through a camera with the internet.
I want to talk about that in therapy. There's a lot of things I want to learn how to cope with. I want some tools how to cope, because I want to learn how to set boundaries for myself. I want to learn how to stop being so impulsive. I want to learn emotional intelligence,
And here's the thing when it comes to that. They're all tools that she desperately needs. Yeah, they really are. And while I don't really have the ability to be massively sympathetic to her anymore, the way I used to be at least. It's this small recognition, even if it is entirely performative for Salah or for the internet because she's in trouble. There is a little part of Chantal somewhere that does actually recognize how terrible her cycles are for her, if only for a second. I've gone around this particular carousel too many times to think she's serious now, and too many times to think she's going to make any progress now, but there is occasionally recognition.
Even more, and I just want to do all those things, and I think you guys were right. Like, I think I do need some help with that from somebody who's trained to deal with those things.
How convenient that realization came this week of all weeks.
So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, and I also kind of just want to take care of myself and work on becoming in a healthier space, like work on my health and
health arc. The cycle continues. Round and round the carousel we go.
Work on becoming healthier mentally in this time that I would take off from YouTube. Have it be a planned time off, not just like, I'm out and I'm quitting, No, I want to like plan it. And if I do it, then it would be, I want to come back refreshed and have this break be beneficial in some way.
Hey guys, I made so much progress offline. No, I didn't film it. No, but trust me, I'm such a better person now. It's been 2 whole weeks. I've changed.
That's basically what I'm focusing on. And yeah, that's, just looking around. I like love Kuwait. This is just my home right now, and it's just so amazing.
Is there a reason you didn't really leave the apartment for like a year and a half there then, given that it's so amazing?
I just really love it. There's so much positive content here I could do, and it would be a win-win. Like, it would be physical activity for me would be so healthy. It would be interesting content for a lot of people who don't travel here.
It would be better for her, absolutely, both physically and mentally, to make that kind of content. I don't think she could live off that kind of content. I don't think it would get her the views. Not that this is necessarily getting her the views anymore, but whatever she spends, it contributes to it. There's a reason her couples channel didn't take off,
I'm telling you guys, if you can go to the Middle East, come check it out for yourself. Kuwait is a really nice country. Go to Dubai.
Dubai is fun. Oman is lovely. The people are so friendly. Ridiculously, wonderfully friendly. Don't get me wrong, especially with the things going on all over the Middle East right now. There are very much 2 sides to that coin, but there are some areas of the Middle East that are just wonderful.
So I'm just going to enjoy my day. Salah was talking about taking me out, later somewhere. So that might be nice.
Might be. I'm just waiting for the somewhere nice to be like him making her go walk on a beach somewhere. She would not enjoy it.
That could be nice. Take me out now. That could be nice. If you haven't seen Longlegs, you won't know the reference I just did.
You will if you have seen her, because she hasn't stopped.
Anyways, guys, I think that's all I wanted to talk about, really. Just, how I'm doing, kind of an update on that. More about my challenge and travel update. We're going to basically just postpone the travel for a little bit until I'm feeling better mentally and physically.
Or until her visa runs out and she can't come back in. Yeah, okay. And with that, I think I'm actually just going to finish it here because she does just circle around a bit more. Oh no, I tell a lie. She goes through why we should be grateful and how gratitude is one of the biggest things in life. This woman here, Chantal Marie, gives us a lecture on that. But anyway, right on schedule. Chantal is there for a spiritual awakening. Chantal is there for a health arc. Chantal is there for not being on the internet so she doesn't have to answer for herself because the negativity, you guys. I don't know if she actually will take the break with everything going on in terms of, I'll have to check the timeline for when her visa is due to be up, and the stuff going on with Salah, and the fact that we're about to come into a time of year where pay really goes down. So if anyone's going to take a break, you may as well take a break then. Maybe she'll take one. Who knows? She's addicted to attention, but there's a lot of moving parts right now. So we'll see how it goes, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.